Hello, and today I'm going to go over my game I made in Scratch for a class. It's called Get to the Exit. So first off, we're going to go open this window up here, and I'm just going to run through the game real quick. The point of this game is you got this little character right here. You move him around with the arrow keys, left to right, and up. Up is jump. And your goal is to get to the exit. There's 2 levels in this, so let's just run through it real quick. So first off, as you can see, here we go. As you can see that, if I push the arrow keys, he moves and he looks the direction that he's going. If I push up, he'll look up. It makes a little sound effect. And then I can go over here, and it's a little glitchy because I'm doing the screen record, but go get this key. That door, the door right here opened up. Yeah, your score is based off of a timer. And then hit this, and you transport up. Let's say you missed your jump and you landed on these spikes. Oh, you pop, and you have to restart the game. But I'll just get through this first level real quick. Like I said, it's a little glitchy because of the screen record, but you get the idea. Go there, jump in the portal, go up there, and you get to the exit. Look here for your score. It's like I said, it's just based off the timer, so it constantly goes, but you get an idea. Level 2 will start. You have these flames. You don't want to hit the flames or the spikes. So you have to get around the flames. And the flames come up. Oh, the flames come up at a random time, so you don't know exactly when they're going to go. But you get the idea. Anyways, then you would jump up through here. That one's a little tricky because it's random. Jump over these spikes, jump on this little thing, go to your exit, this portal I mean. You pop in here and you can get to the exit. So if you look over here, you can see all the programming I did. You have different things in Scratch called sprites, which are like your elements that you create for the game. As you can see over here, I have a few different things. The first one is Sprite 1, which is the character itself, and this is all the programming I did for Sprite 1. I'm not going to go through all this because I actually did a lot more than what was required of the class for the game. I had like gravity and stuff put in, so like when he jumps up, the gravity falls, and so he automatically comes down. I don't think I'm going to go through all that. I'm just going to go through all my basic stuff I did for the game. First off, when you click the start, that's how everything gets going in the games. All Scratch games are like that. So I have my character showing, which all these are different looks and elements on the side that you just program them in the order that you want things to go. So when I click the start, he shows. I switch him to this costume. Each sprite has these different costumes you can program in. These are his different looks. These are just things I drew and imported them into the program. They're really easy to import in. You can just click on a sprite from a file, go to wherever you saved it, and bring it in. And it would pop over here, name it whatever you want. Or if you want to, you can draw something of your own in here and save it and use that as your sprites as well, which are some of these were created in the game. Some of them were created outside the game just so I could have a little bit better paintbrushes and stuff like that. So let me click back on my sprite here. So these different costumes are just like the right look, the left look, the up look, and the pop for when he pops, when he hits these spikes over here. So first off, so I haven't just doing this right look, I just made that like a standard look. So he switches to that costume, which is under these looks. You can just like drag these underneath these tabs. You can see that that's how you change those elements. Just get rid of that one because I don't want that in there. And then so he goes to a y or an x value of -199 and a y value of -135. And I figured that out just by, if you move your arrow over here, you can see these numbers moving over here. And so you can kind of see where your values are. And I just wanted him to start here. And so I just plugged in those values for him to start. And so forever. So that means every time that's throughout the game, this is what's going to happen. All that stuff's under these control tabs. So if I wanted to create a new one, I could go forever if he, which I'm on sprite 1, so it would only affect him, and I can put whatever I want to do. If he's touching, there's different things you can do. For right now, forever, if the right arrow key is pressed, which is these things right here. So I should like to rebuild this one. I would have forever if, then I would go sensing key. If the right arrow is pressed, I'm going to change his X value, which would be his horizontal movement, by 5. So that would be in motion. I'm going to move, change X by 5. And that's just the speed. You can change that to whatever number you wanted to make it go whatever speed you'd like him to go. Positive numbers move him in a right direction, or if I made a -5, I can make it if I push the right arrow, then he would move in the left direction, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I will make it a 5. And then when that right arrow is pressed, he also changes to the right look costume. So that's under looks, and I'm going to do that. And so that means, I'll change that to right look. So that means that when I press the right arrow, he will bring up the costume where his eyes are looking right. I do the same thing for the left arrow. So forever, if left arrow is pressed, just building it the same way I built this one. Left arrow pressed, I'm going to move his X by -5, and then I'm going to change the costume to the left look. And what that does, and so if I press left, he looks left. Press right, he looks right and moves at the speed. And then I did the same thing, actually, right here. When up arrow is pressed, oh, no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong section. This is for, well, actually it is. This is velocity, because I have gravity and stuff in there, and I'm not really going to get into that too much because I had to watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos and stuff to do that properly. But normally you would change your up just like you did these, only you would change your Y. So your Y is your vertical, your X is your horizontal. I did these velocities, which is a variable I created. I'll get into it a little bit, but so you set Y to your Y position, which would be his vertical position, plus your velocity, which is that variable I created. So I just made a variable, I named it velocity, I set it for this sprite only, because I only wanted to affect this guy, and then I set that velocity to 7, which means he would move in vertical at 7. That's his speed that we would go vertical. And so my Y position is, when the up arrow is pressed, my Y position is changed by his current Y position plus this velocity, which is 7. I played a sound, which you can have the sound tabs. I played a sound, which I just drug that in there. And that sound, I used one of their ones that they have, just import a sound, and I just made it make this little laser sound. So it goes jink when he press up. And then just like this one over here, this test one I made, I switched to costume up, which gives him, he looks up. So if I play this, if I press up, a little sound plays and he looks up. I press right, he looks right, moves 5, and then he presses up. Normally he would stay up when I pressed up, but over here I created another element, a variable called gravity. And so I set my gravity to -3, so that's the speed that he'll fall. So when the flag is clicked, my velocity is at 0, because I don't want him to move when the flag's clicked at the start of the game. But forever, if he's touching green, nothing happens, because I don't want him to continue to fall. I made these green areas in my images, so if he's touching those, that's like the ground he won't go through. So if touching green, nothing happens. But, or else I set my velocity to my velocity plus my gravity. And I set my Y to my Y position plus my velocity. So that means that once he goes up, he will jump, but then my gravity goes to -3 once he gets to that 7. So then he'll automatically fall, and he'll stop when he hits this green. That's a little bit confusing, and I had to do some trial and error to figure that out. But it's also I had to watch some YouTube videos and stuff because I wanted him to fall naturally, and that's how I did that. All right, so like I said, that's a little bit more confusing, a little bit more difficult, but it's still fairly straightforward. I'm gonna get rid of this as that fake one, that sample I made up. Okay, so let's just go down to the next one. That was my arrow, my up. Okay, so now I have these little portals. These are other little sprites. So the other little elements I created. This is portal 1, this is portal 2. Or O1 portal 1, because I called it O1 portal 1, because I have O2 portal for level 2, and I'll explain that here. So if I go over there and I jump and I touch this portal, touching portal 1, and I created it just like I did all the other ones with these sensing, and so whenever the flag is clicked, that's just kind of a reset forever. If I'm touching portal 1, O1 portal 1, I'll play a sound, just a zoop, just a little sound effect, just like I did with this sound up here. It's going to wait 0.25 seconds. I just put that in there because it seemed more natural than an instant, just to wait a brief second. And then it's going, my sprite is going to go to portal 1, O1 portal 1, which would zoom him up to there. So I'll go boop, and he zooms up to there. You can see that again, boop, and he zooms. And then since he's not touching green, like I did with my gravity, he falls naturally. Just like with this gravity, if I fall off the shelf, he falls. Like I said, it's a little glitchy because I'm doing the screen record. But, so if I walk up the edge, he'll fall. If I hit a portal, he'll fall. As long as he's touching the green, he stops falling. Okay, but that's how I did my portals. When this is just, these variables I created over here are more variables. It's level and score. They're check mark, so they show up on the screen. If I uncheck them, like my gravity is unchecked, if I check that on, it shows it, the value. You don't need to see that because it's for my gravity, so you don't need to see that, so I uncheck it. But my level you want to see, so when the green is clicked, it says level 1. And I'll talk about this here in a second. That's the gravity that I've already talked about. Okay, next is this screen right here. Created this just like I created all the other elements. So when the green flag is clicked forever, if my sprite 1 is touching this brown color, which I did that sensing just like I would everything, touching, and you can choose whatever color you want. I made it this brown color. And so before the keys open, before you grab this key over here, oops, before you grab this key over here, you can't get through that door. So if I'm touching that door, I have him glide, which is just moving to that position. So I just have him move back to this position right here. So he jumps up, he touches that, he moves back to this position automatically. And then if I have him touching key 1, which is this key right here, I broadcast key found. Okay, so now we get into broadcasting. Broadcasting key found is I created under control. I created a broadcast, and so I brought that over. I would create a new one, and I created key found, just like I did with my variables. So what happens when key found happens? Okay, so let's see if I can find it here. Okay, so I clicked on my key, so I adjust that sprite. So when the flag is clicked, the key shows up on the screen. When I receive key found, which is that thing I broadcast when I touch the key, so when I receive it, I hide the key, it disappears. And then, okay, so when I broadcast this key found, on the key over here on this sprite, I have it to when I receive key found. When I receive key found, it hides, just so it hides, it goes away. And when I touch it also on my stages, which is just like your background, I have when I receive key found, I switch to level background 01. This is just like the costume changes I did. And so level 1 is the same background as the original level, which is called door, only the door isn't there. So that door disappears. So I just switched to this costume right here. As you can see, there's no door there, where there is a door on this one, which is the one that starts up when the game starts. So it's the one that starts because when the flag is clicked at the beginning, I switch to background door right there. And then when I receive key found, it switches to background level 1, which that door isn't there. So once that key is found, oops, my guy hits it, the key disappears, a sound effect is played, which is all under this play sound effect fairy dust, and then my broadcast key found, and that changes my background because of what I programmed in on this stage, and that door goes away. Now since that door has gone away, I can go through this area. Okay, this is called exit 1, which is in this section right here. So if I touch exit 1, that's just for my gravity. I broadcast congrats, which is another broadcast that I created. And just like I did this key found one. When the congrats happens, this is how it goes to level 2. I broadcast congrats, my guy hides, my guy disappears, and he goes to this position, which is just like the starting position. And then he's going to wait 6.5 seconds, and I'll tell you why here in a second when I show you what this broadcast congrats does. And then I will show him after that 6.5 seconds. So when the broadcast congrats happens, all my elements over here are like all these backgrounds and levels, which are just created just like I created this sprite, are all, here I'll click on one here. When I receive congrats, it hides, which means that it will disappear. Same with these spikes. When I receive congrats, it hides. I have to have them all set up so they show when I click the start arrow, which is right there. When I receive congrats, they hide. Just same with these levels here. When I receive congrats, they hide. So everything, all these portals, everything will hide, including my guy. When I receive congrats, over here on my stage, I switch to background congrats, which I spelled wrong, but it's just this level screen, which I'll show you here, which is this new level screen. As you can see, everything disappeared, and it goes to that level screen. Let me go back to that real quick. I just stopped it so it'll stay because I have it timed to time out. So when I receive congrats, my background switches to that congrats. It waits 5 seconds. That's why I have my sprite wait 6.5 seconds to show back up. And then I broadcast level 2 start, which is just another broadcast just created like all the other ones. I set my score to 34, so my timer resets. I wait 1 second. That was just a timing glitch in the game I had to wait. And then I change my score to -1. And then I switch to background level 2. Level 2 is just the next background that comes off. I have like little mountains and stuff. It switches to that one. When I receive, I have this wait 5 seconds in there, so this screen stays up for 5 seconds, and then my level 2 elements will show up. For example, my level 2 exit, when it receives congrats, it waits 8 seconds. This is just timing, trial and error to try to figure out what works the best, and then it will show. But as you can see here, initially it's hidden. So when that green arrow is clicked, because this is my level 2 start. And that's the end of level 2. So I will go into level 2 here. Everything disappears. This new screen, new background stage shows up. Stays up there for 5 seconds. Everything shows up, and these are just the other elements that I have in there. And they all show when they receive congrats with like a 5-second or 6-second delay, and then they'll show. These fire things right here are little flames, and if you touch them, he makes a bad noise, and he goes back to the start. Those are called down here Sprite 3 and 4. So just like all the other elements of level 2, when I click the green flag, it's hidden. When I receive congrats, that's what happens when you hit the exit on 1. It waits 6 seconds for the delay of the congrats screen where you can read your score and stuff. Then it shows. That's just a layering thing. And then forever, I have it set to 100% size, which these are just all my looks. You can change your set size, or right here, sorry, the percent per 100%. Weight, pick random, and these were just operators here. So I had a control of weight, which I can't find right now, but oh, right there, weight, and then I put in an operator of pick random 0.5 to 1 is why I decided how quick I wanted these to come up. So it would randomly pop up between half a second and 1 second. And then I set size to 0, weight half a second to 1 second. And so it kind of like grows, and it's hard to see because it's a little glitchy because of the screen capture. It kind of expands up from 0 size to full size, 0 size to full size. And that's how it disappears. It's because it's at size 0, it's completely gone. At size 100, it's full size, and so it completely disappears. And that's how I got these things to pop up and down. My sprite, or my main character, so if he's touching Sprite 3, which is this flame right here, I'll play sound, screech, he hides. I broadcast restart 02, which all that does is I have it set up to restart the score. And then I have it set up to restart the score. And then I wait 0.5 seconds. That was just trial and error to see what worked well. Then I show him again, and he goes to this starting position. And I set my score to 31, wait a half a second, and then the score will change score by -1, and that will just continually count down. So the rest of the thing is the same. Let's say I made it through this. I jump to this level. I go up here to this portal. He goes here, and then I hit this exit, which is exit 2. So forever, if touching exit 02 exit, I brought congrats 1, and I hide him. And congrats 1, all that does is all these elements hide when they receive congrats 1. So I'll show you here, like on this sprite. When I receive congrats 1, I hide that element. And then on my stage, when I receive congrats 1, I switch to background congrats 1, which is just another congratulations screen. And then on my script, I stop all. So that stop all stops all elements in the game from doing anything. So when my guy touches exit 2, this goes, and all elements of the game have stopped. It's just like hitting the big red stop button. You can see it's not counting my score anymore, or my level isn't changing. You found the exit. That's all the levels for now. If you wanted to replay, you would hit the flag, and everything resets back to the beginning of the game. That was just a quick overview of my game. It's like I said, it's a little bit more in depth than what the class requirements ask me to do, but I wanted to do it that way because I kind of enjoyed making this game. Oh, this right here, I forgot to tell you. like the same with this one right here, that if it touches here, he moves to that position. On level 2, I have another one of those elements. So let me get into level 2 here. When he goes to the portal, he goes up into this position, and I wanted to make it so I was having a problem where he would jump through the wall. If I jumped left, he would go through the wall. So I set it up that if he's touching the orange, that he bounces back to this position, this 170 by negative 125. So that's all that is. It's the same as this brown position that I had set up on level 1. The green is always set to like the ground. So if he's touching green, nothing happens. That's why he doesn't continue to fall or continue to move. Touch exit 2, and that's it. So that's my game, a quick overview of it, and I hope that works for you. Thank you.